Here we go, here we go, here we go. Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another delicious list. And today I'm very excited to be talking about my top 41 two-player board and card games of all time. These are games that you can play exclusively two players, even though Board Game Geek has gotten some of these wrongs because you can actually play them with more players. But how I compiled this list was I went to Board Game Geek and I categorized only games that could be played at two players, and I went through every single two-player game in human history that's on Board Game Geek, marked the ones that I'd played, and now I'm going to rank them from the great to the bad, with forgettable good and forgettable bad in the middle. So first we'll start off with Overboard. So this is a really interesting one. This is what I like to call a gimmick game, and you got a lot of abstract strategy two-player gimmick games. So essentially a gimmick game is something where the only reason the game ever got made because it's got some weird winky dongle. So like Kerplunk is the whole pulling out this. This one was you like push these pieces forward and they would fall out the sides. And I remember it was okay, and the kids in my class enjoyed it, and I ended up giving to a little girl who really enjoyed playing it with me. And in the end, it was a forgettable good abstract strategy game. But because I remember the gimmick wasn't amazing. If the gimmick was amazing, this would just be good, because I remember the gimmick, but I don't remember the gimmick that much. Not really one worth searching down. Speaking of one not worth searching down, we have Regnum Angelica, and I don't actually know if this game ever actually got released. I did a Kickstarter video so long ago, and it was good. It's a fun little two-player head-to-head game where you're trying, one person plays as hell, one person plays as heaven, and you're trying to get people into your area. It's a tug-of-war style game, and it was good. I don't remember much else about it. And so, yeah, forgettable good. I don't really remember any of the mechanisms aside from tug of war, and I don't even know what got made. I'm very, very interested. And so, okay, full disclosure, this is actually my top 42 two-player games of all time. I'm a liar. I played this one with my son this week a couple times. This is Color Cubes, and this is a really interesting game where it looks like an ice cube. Don't Break the Ice. Remember Don't Break the Ice, where we had the penguins and the hammer? Set that up on the side, and so you got all those little... Well, no, that didn't do that. It looks more like an ice cube tray. It looks like... So this part right here is an ice cube tray kind of thing, but you can see through it, and then you have these cubes, and on one side there's a color, and on the other side there might be the same color, it might be a different color, and you essentially have 3 of these cubes in your hand, and you're trying to place them in there to get 5 in a row. All the while, you don't know at all what your opponent's side looks like. It's okay. You know, I'm going to put it in the meh category. It's not good. It's okay. Me and my son played it a couple times. We shot a review, and we're like, yep, pretty cool getting rid of this. And he's like, yeah, me too, Dad. I was like, hooray, agreed. So Color Cubes. But it was created by the same people who made Uno, and they made sure to slap that on the box. But unfortunately, that did not work. Now, a two-player abstract strategy game that I do really love, and I think it's great, is Goblet. I'm not beating around the bush here. Goblet is my favorite Tic-Tac-Toe variant game. Is it my favorite Tic-Tac-Toe variant game? There's another Tic-Tac-Toe variant game on this list that I love as well. Goblet's... I don't know. I'll get to that bridge when I cross it. So Goblet is a great two-player family game. This is one that I actually gave away to a kid, and I did not want to because it was such a good game. And I thought, you know what, I'll come across it again. But the basic premise is you're trying to get, like Tic-Tac-Toe, but you have different size pieces. So you'd have a piece like this, and then you'd have another piece that would slide on top of this, and then you have another piece that would go on top of that. Kind of like the those dolls, I think they're called Russian dolls, where you open them and there's like smaller ones inside. It's kind of like that, but it was like Tic-Tac-Toe or Connect 4, one of the two. And you could only put... But certain pieces would fit on top of other pieces, and you could learn the rules really easy because the pieces that would fit on top of other pieces worked. For perfect number 4. I did do 42, yes! But Goblet is a great family game. Highly recommend that one. If you find it, you can probably find it at the thrift store if you look hard enough. And it's a great one. Highly underrated. This is Odin's Raven 2nd Edition. It's cut off because they only let me do squares or landscape or different things. And this is a good game. This is a good two-player racing game. So it's basic premise of you're going to lay out these cards and you have to go shoo, shoo. It's also a race game, and you're modifying... This is a terrible explanation. It's a little two-player racing card game with probably about 80 cards in it, and you have to lay certain cards to go over certain terrain. So if there's a mountain tile, you have to play a mountain tile to go over it. But if you can modify the terrain by twisting them, because they're double-sided, now I'm explaining a little bit better, and you say get 3 mountains in a row, then you can just fly across all those mountains at one time. And so it's all about board manipulation, card manipulation. It's a good game. It's good. I still have it. I still have it. It's just good enough. It's like one of those games that's just good enough to stay in my collection right now, which makes me wonder in 10 years, when there's more of those two-player card games that are just good enough to stay in, will it still be able to stay in? And that's why I'm going to update these lists every 5, 10 years, something like that. Star Realms. So this one's a liar. Let's get it out of the way. Star Realms is a great game. This goes immediately to the top for me. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And I love Star Realms, but it's not 2 players. I mean, you can easily, I think out of the box, play it up to 4 players. But the first time I ever played this was at a buddy's house, and he was telling me about this $15 Kickstarter he had, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll try it out. And I was not expecting anything amazing, because I did quite a few Kickstarter videos, and most of the time the games aren't amazing. They're good. Sometimes they're great, but most of the time they're just in the good range. And this one just blew me away. It was so simple. You know, I love the color system. The reds are trashing, the greens are damaged, the yellows are just drawing cards or screwing over your neighbors, and all the expansions. I really wish they would have doubled down on Star Realms instead of Hero Realms, in my personal opinion, but obviously they did that because they know their sales numbers. But Star Realms is still, to this day, one of my favorite games of all time, and I don't ever see it not being one of my favorite games of all time. It's just excellent deck building. I don't see anything surpassing Star Wars. That's my early favorite for this list right now. Oh, no, I just saw one's probably going to pass it. Magic the Gathering. Not this one, though. All right, Magic the Gathering. I mentioned this in another list. I'm going to give it a lot of respect. I do understand that it is a great game, and I will put it at the bottom of the great category. It's one of those games that I got into, actually for my first love. I fell in love when I was 18 years old, and it was magical, and I learned how to play Magic the Gathering as part of, that journey. I also became a juggalo, fun fact, for a summer. But I learned how to play Magic the Gathering, and I can see just how it has just infinite possibilities that you can play with. And for me personally, I am a huge competitive person. I'm over-competitive. I have strained friendships with my toxic competitiveness in some avenues of life, in real life, like totally fourth wall stuff here. And Magic the Gathering, I think, would allow me to really enjoy that. And it's just, if you like competitive head-to-head style card games, it's just Magic the Gathering is an awesome one. So great. I will put it in the great. But that being said, I have not even began to dabble in Magic nearly as much as I'd like to. One day. All right, so next we got 30-second mysteries. So this also can be played with more than 2 players. This is a game where pretty much you read off a card and then you say, "Oh, solve the mystery," and then you have 30 seconds to solve the mystery. And it's not really that much of a game per se, if I recall correctly. I remember I think I still own this, or I gave it to somebody. I don't know. But this was not much of a game. Like, it's fun, and it's good, but it's not really a game. It's just kind of reading off mysteries. So, good, I guess. Alright, Munchkin, collectible card game. Forgettable good. And I'll put this at the top of the forgettable good, because I did have a whole heck of a lot of fun playing the Munchkin collectible card game. They sent me a whole bunch of stuff when it first came out, because I was one of the people, one of the rare reviewers who reviews Munchkin, and a lot of the Munchkin expansions, so they sent me that, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I really did. It's just, collectible card game is not something, like for me, I go through so many games. I do. I churn through games, being a reviewer and being a content creator. So, collectible games generally not ones that are going to resonate with me that strongly, but I did enjoy the game a good deal, and I think I still might have all my stuff, which is dumb. I should probably get rid of that. All right. But yeah, Munchkin collectible card game. It's fun. I don't even know. I think they're still supporting it. I'm not sure. I know they had huge plans for that, though. All right, what do we got? This one, A Clash of Popes. This is one in the Button Shy Games series, and I'm going to put this one at the... no, it wasn't that strong. No, I'm going to put it there. It was forgettable good. I remember enjoying it. I remember playing it. I think I might have even kept it. Like, I have a small box over there, which is, to be quite honest, filled with a lot of games that are probably more in the okay to good range, as opposed to the good to the great, which is what I try to keep in my collection. But when they're so small, I don't want to get rid of it. And this would fit into that category. I remember having fun with it. And if you haven't checked out the Button Shy series, they're really cool. I would love to play all of them and find the one that I thought was the magnum opus of them. But essentially, they come in, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a little, it looks like a credit card, like a fat credit card, and it's not actually, no, that's a terrible description. It's a little thing that you can fit in your wallet, you flip it over, and you take out the cards, and there's rule cards in there, and you can play little games with the cards. And they're very well done. I like the Mint Tin games personally better, but I would like to explore more. That one was good. I don't remember. I don't remember much about it though. All right, A Song of Ice and Fire. This is one that I would love to explore more, and I'm gonna put this one at the top of the good. I got a chance to play this one twice, and it's a really stinking well done minis game. Like, woo! It blew me away, and it has like this really cool leader type system where you can use these different abilities from the different characters from the Game of Thrones, and they work thematically. That was the thing that really got me excited. Was it felt like the people that created this game really were big fans of the show, and that makes me want to dive even more into it. Not to mention it had absolutely gorgeous minis. This is one that one day when I'm traveling the country in an RV playing board games all over the country, this is one I'm going to find a spot that's going to have like a weekly or monthly tournament, and I'm going to camp there in my RV, and I'm going to get in the the Game of Thrones minis scene, because it's a very good, and honestly, I would probably lean more towards great, but I have not played it enough to bump it into the great. And I don't put anything on this list that I don't at least have a strong feeling one way or the other for, generally. All right, Fog of Love. This one goes firmly in the meh category. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the meh category because a game of color cubes will most of the time last about 4 minutes and then end in a cat. Whereas a game of Fog of Love, I'd still be neck deep in the rule booklet in 4 minutes. So Fog of Love came out a couple years ago, and I was actually I think I had a prototype of it, a very early review of it, and it was not for me. And I wanted it to be for me so much. Essentially, it's kind of like a quasi role-playing game where you're getting thrust into this relationship and you're trying to just keep the relationship going or not keep the relationship going. And the main issue that I had with Fog of Love, and I'm not going to bear the lead here, I did not like the game, was the fact that I wanted to roleplay. They were writing these interesting stories and interesting scenarios, and I enjoyed the world they were immersing me into, but then they said, oh, hey, no, you need to get 6 of these cubes, and you need to get 4 of this, you need to move this track 6 spaces. And it's like, but if I do that, it's going to unimmerse me from the cool story, because I'm going to be making choices that are counterproductive to what I'm trying to do in my role-playing. And that immediately just kind of killed the game for me. We played through it, and it was okay. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it just, that undid it for me. And I had the same issue with, what's that legacy game? I don't remember what it is with the, it's a really awesome game. If it comes back to me, I'll think of it. All right, 13 Days. This is a 2-player head-to-head game about these, I want to say the space race. I did a review on it, so it should be, yeah, it didn't really resonate with me. And I ended up getting rid of this one. I thought, because it's a very good game. I do remember it was good. And I would like to play it. Honestly, this is top of forgettable good. I think this is about as forgettable good as it gets for me. Because I would go back and revisit 13 Days in a heartbeat. But I'm cool about owning it. All right, what do we got next? Air, Land, and Sea. Good. I'm going to put this one in the good category. This is a really under-the-radar one from Arcane Wonders. It's area control, where you just got this small deck of cards and you're playing out either points to your air, your land, and your sea, and you're trying to win the head-to-head combat. But there's like a really cool way that they do the ties with whoever's the first player. And but what's interesting about this game that I really like is essentially you can just cut and run. So if you think you're going to win or lose during a round, and you're like, you know what, I see my cards, and I don't think this is going to work out for me, you can cut and run. And the earlier you cut and run, the better off for you are. So it's a really interesting aspect. And I'm going to put it right there. I think it's a really good game. I think a lot of other people, a lot of other reviewers I've talked to would put it more into the great category, actually. But for me, I put it in the very good. All right, what do we got? Mastermind. This is a good game. This is a good game where essentially you're trying to guess the code. If you've never played Mastermind, it really still does stand the test of time. So one person is going to set a code, and then the other person is going to be trying to guess that code, and you change. It's really cool. It's a really cool system. If you've never played it, try Mastermind. Mastermind for Kids is great as well. Mastermind Junior, I think it's called. And I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to show it some respect, because I've had a lot of fun with this. And I played with my own kids a lot as well. Lost Cities, great. Top of the great. That's the question. How great is Lost Cities? I'm going to put it right there. If you haven't played Lost Cities, it's Reiner Knizia's best game, in my personal opinion. It's a very simple card game where you're going to have this hand of cards, and on your turn, you are going to either play a card or discard a card and then draw a card. And this is a really unique game in the aspect, this is the only game that I've ever played where you actually hate it when it's your turn. Because on your turn, you just have to make these incredibly difficult, terrible decisions because you're either going to play a card, which means if you play like a 6, you can't play anything lower than a 6, which means you're going to be losing out on points. Or you can discard a card. But if you discard a card, and the other person has the option to pick up that card, because on your turn, what you do is you get rid of a card by either playing it or discarding it, and then you draw a card, and you can actually draw from the discard piles of the specific colors, because there's 5 colors. Oh, such a great game. Not Star Realms, though. Star Realms just has immense amounts of variability, especially with all the different expansions. And in my book, it will never, Lost Cities will never usurp it, whereas Star Realms is still climbing. And that's why I love games that have a lot of variability. So, Star Wars X-Wing, played this a couple times. I have gotten just absolutely destroyed every single time I play it. And I thought, dang it, that's a really fun game every single time I played it. And it's up here. Look at that. Fantasy Flight and Seamon. And yeah, so this theme intrigues me a little bit more. Just the ground, not necessarily Game of Thrones more than Star Wars, but just the ground combat versus the space combat. I'm more of a ground combat kind of person, so I am going to keep that right there. But X-Wing's great. I think X-Wing is very good, and I think if you get more into it, I think most people who are into X-Wing would say it's great. For me, it was very good. But then again, this isn't, 2-player games aren't normally my jam. And so I'm actually surprised we haven't had anything down to the bad yet. Alright, so what do we got? Clax. Clax is fun. So Clax, you got this little, it's like kind of like tabletop, where you got these magnets down below, and you're like, hey, I'm moving the magnets around. You're trying to knock balls into holes, and it's a delightful little game. And I enjoy it a good deal. It's very good, and I would play it. Yeah, Clask. I gotta put Clask. You know what, Clask? How high do I put Clask? Clask is a great game. Yeah, I'm gonna put Clask right there. Because Clask, it's so simple to learn, to teach. I've played it with people of all different ages. I've seen, like, who doesn't enjoy a good game of Clask? Like, let me know the person who's like, I hate Clask. Clask, just forget that. And I think that says a lot. Connect 4. This one's a tough one for me. So this was my game as a kid. I remember I was so good at Connect 4, I could beat adults sometimes. Yeah! Oh my gosh, I used to carry around a Connect 4 box. My box was beat up to heck. And it's still a good game. It is. You know, just the when you trap people, it's so much fun. And I'm going to put it right there. And the fact that it's still being made. And here's the other thing. When people bag on games like this, they bag on like Candyland and Monopoly. Sorry. You don't hear anybody bag on Connect 4. Connect 4 got street cred. Very good game. Alright, what do we got next? Tack. Okay, so this one I think it's from Cheap Ass Games, I want to say. And it's a very forgettable abstract strategy game with cool pieces. Based on something. It's based on like a book or something. I didn't really care. But I would rather play it than Fog of Love, because this one's going to be quicker. So yeah, putting that one in the mech category. Still not bad, though. That's good. Alright, what do we got next? Oh no, we got Checkers. Let's do Checkers. I like Checkers. You know what? Checkers is... yeah, Checkers is... I'll put it down here. At least it deserves to be above 30-second mystery. Checkers is good. It's just once I started playing chess, like checkers was just like, it's like I never ever want to play checkers ever again. It's like, why are we playing this when we could be playing with more choices? So yeah, checkers is good. Is chess not on here? Yeah, chess is on here, and I'll put chess bottom of the grade. I'll put chess bottom of the grade. It deserves that respect. I don't think many people are going to argue with that. The fact that it was invented, 1,000 years ago plus, and people are still playing it a lot all over the world. I mean, like it just makes sense to me. It's great. Codenames Duet, also great. Also great. Like it better than chess, like it better than Magic, like it better than Clax, like it better than Goblet, like it better than Lost Cities. Wow. Okay. Respect Codenames Duet. If you haven't played Codenames Duet, it is Codenames, but in 2-player form, and it really... It converts itself well at the 2-player format, and it's really well done. And they actually put a good deal of things you could do in the box. Like, you would think it's just kind of like a back and forth, like checkers chess, where it's like it's a very every game's going to be the same, but they have like different things you can mix up that'll make it more challenging, and they do it around the map, and it's a great 2-player game. Very underrated one. Pocket Ops, also super underrated. This is not a good game. I think Pocket Ops is a great 2-player game, and it was one of my go-to games when I was doing the summer program with kids that were 10, 11, 12 age range, because what it is essentially is Tic-Tac-Toe. It's Tic-Tac-Toe variant, but you have these pieces that you put out, and they have all sorts of special abilities. And I don't remember the name of the company that did this, but yeah, Pocket Ops. If you have kids that like Tic-Tac-Toe, but they also are more like into board games, this is one you might want to check out. Because all the different special abilities, so there's like a sniper who could like take out, your X from across, your color from across the board. Really great game. And yeah, maybe I do like 2-player only games. Okay. You know what? Is it great? Is it a great game, though? Yeah. I like that game. I've never had a bad experience with that one. All right, so this one is Holmes and Moriarty. This was a 2-player game. It was fun. Played Holmes and Moriarty. Screwed up the rules the first time. Don't remember how. Fixed it after that. Thought it was even better. And I don't remember anything else about it. So there you go. I think that is the epiphany of forgettable good. And honestly, I'd rather go revisit Overboard. Boop. But it's a good game. It's just forgettable. Caro. Here we go. This one's going firmly into the bad. Nope, forgettable bad. I don't remember why it was bad. So this was and this might be more like top of the meh. I don't remember. I shot a review of this. I got it in Essen. It's a 2-player game. There's a big gas tanker in the middle, which is like this huge like toy looking thing, which is cool, but it's completely pointless. No, it has a timer, I think, or something in it. But the game itself was just boring. I remember like playing it twice and be like, wow, I never ever want to play this ever again. And I never did. So there you go. Forgettable bad, but I don't remember what was bad about it. It was just I think it was boring. I shot a review on it. Who cares? Battleship. Here we go. Battleship Battleship never did it for me. Like I was more of a Connect 4 kid, so I'm gonna put it top of the meh. But I will say, since then, you know what? I'll go bottom of the good. I gotta give it. I have had some fun with it, and there's been different spin-off versions of it, which I did like better. I even have over here like the solo like electronic one. I want to do a review of that eventually. Get some batteries if it's not too corroded in there. But so you know what? I do like Battleship. It's just you know what? No, top of the meh. I gotta be real here. I can't. Listen to my heart. All right, what is this game? This is War. Oh yeah, this is War. Bad. I hate War. I hate War with the passion of 1,000 suns. So, if you have kids, you get dragged into playing War. That's a fact of life. Okay? It's a fact of life. But, here's a little not so fun fact. If you work with kids, you are also going to have to play War. And I did. Played a lot of War, and War is just not fun. It's great for kids to learn how to do their numbers and higher, lower, and blah, blah, blah. It's still a flaming pile of crap, and I hate playing War. And what I would do to make it go faster is I would just start taking out the low cards, and I'd be like, oh, I wanted 2, I'm just going to get rid of this 2, get rid of this 2, get rid of this 2, get rid of the 3, and now we're getting rid of 4s. And that would speed up the game exponentially. I hate War. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Battleship Outer Space. I also spoke of better versions of Battleship. This one, though, is not. This one is more in the meh category for me, and I'm gonna put it right there. So this one has 3 rows. So there's the row here, row here, row here. You can put different ships on each one. And the reason why I'm putting this as meh is just the components. It did not want to assemble and disassemble very well. And this might have just been my copy. I doubt it, but it didn't want to assemble very well, and with a game like this that's all about the components, you don't want to have component issues. In the box, there's like no box inserts, it just rattles around, you're going to lose all the freaking pegs, and no, meh on that one. Onitama, man, this is a really stinking good 2-player game from Arcane Wonders that has there's no real theme to it. It's, what is it? So you have, I think there's only like 3 or 4 or 5 cards in the game, and they let you move your pieces around the board. But whenever you use a card, that card goes into the middle where someone else could then take that card or something like that. And it's great. It's great. I'm not going to go good. I'm going to go great. I have never had a bad experience with Onitama. I've probably played this 10, 15 times. It's a really short game as well. Great tournament game. And yeah, wow, I really like Onitama. That might be my favorite abstract strategy game. One of them all time. Right there. Right there. Arcane Wonders coming in big. Holding on the great and the good. All right, Mage Wars Arena. Arcane Wonders once again with a 2-player niche that I never even noticed. So this is the core set. I don't know what the heck. Oh, that's the shortened version of it. This is top. This is top for me. So Mage Wars is a game that I absolutely adore. It was in my top 5 games of all time at one point. And essentially it is you choose a mage and then you fight in a battle arena. And you say, oh, that sounds super generic. But where this game sets itself apart is the insane level of customization that you can do with your mage. You get something called a spell book. You remember when you had like cards as a kid, you'd slide them into the cards and you'd have like that card book that was like a binder? Yeah, it's like that, except you're actually choosing spells for your mage to put in there. And it has a really clean and clear point system that you can utilize. So you get a certain number of points. And so you can just make the craziest, coolest mages that you would like. And you can really lean into what you like to do. So I like to be a hunter who would have all sorts of beasts that'd be going around the map. But there'd be warlords, and there'd be people with super awesome armor and equipment. And there'd be people who customize the map. And this is a game that I want to find a retirement community. I want a retirement community that is specifically devoted to playing Mage Wars. And every day we just have a Mage Wars tournament. We make new tournaments with our books, and it'll be delightful. And I would live in that retirement community for a month. It would be spectacular. That's what I want when I get old. Mage Wars. All right, Mage Wars. What is this one? Mage Wars Academy. Now, this is when they tried to make... So here's the thing about Mage Wars. It's like a 2 to 3 hour beast of a game. So what they tried to do is they condensed it down to a 30... I think it was about the 30-minute to 1 hour mark. And what was cool was all the cards from one set would work with the other set. I don't remember which way that was. I think all the cards with this would work with Mage Wars, but not vice versa, if I recall correctly. And they did a good job, and it was a very good game. It was very, very good. And I probably said it was great at the time, but now, in retrospect, I just rather play Mage Wars. I just rather play the big beast of it. And why would I want Diet when I could have... Why would I want something... yeah, you know what I was doing with that example there? Just fill it in your brain. Let me know what it is in the comments, and I will agree with it. Battle line. So, I haven't opened my Mage Wars course yet. Maybe... I should change that. Yes. I would look to see if there's some sort of how to play video, because I will say that game is a beast of different rules. But once they start clicking and they start going, oh, it's so nice. So this is Battle Line. This is a really cool 2-player game that I really liked. And I don't remember anything about it. I think it had cards. Yep, I don't even know. It's been so long. This is one of the games that I played when I first got into the hobby, and I really liked it. I wanted to get it, and I never did. And it's very good, very, very top of the forgettable good. It does not get more forgettable good than Battle Line, in my opinion. Also, the Red Zone. I own it. I'm looking at it right there. This is a very good football game that has a really cool solo version where you can play against it, and it has different teams and mechanisms, and it's a very good forgettable game. Good game. I don't remember what I liked about it so much, but it's on that shelf, which tells me mad respect. The Red Zone. Yeah, that one's a Game Crafter only one, I do believe as well. All right, what do we got next? This one. I don't remember the name of this game. Oh, yeah. Machi, I think is the name of it. That's why I keep these here. What is it? Machi. What is this? Matcha. Yeah, Matcha. This one was, I believe, about you trying to make tea or something, and it was very forgettable good. So the forgettable good's filling up. I remember I got it, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm done. And, it wasn't meh. I remember enjoying it. but I don't remember anything at all about it. It's that Holmes and Moriarty range, but I know this one is shorter, so I'm going to bump it ahead of the Holmes and Moriarty. So there we go. Forgettable good. Representing. Whew, good. All right, what do we got next? Yes, this was the Dice Masters game. So if you don't remember Dice Masters, like, all the rage about 5 or 6, 7 years ago. People were going crazy for this. They couldn't keep it in stock. They were like, why don't you have the Dice Masters? We gotta have the Dice Masters. And actually, I've talked to people since then, and it kind of killed Dice Masters in the long run, not being able to have that, because there was so much insane demand for Dice Masters. Like, there was the potential here. Like, these are not words that I say lightly. There was the potential here to have a rival, like a real potential rival to Magic in the long run, because they had all these different IPs, and you could start meshing all these different worlds together. Because there was Marvel, there was DC, there was X-Men, it was like Lord of the Rings. There was just insane amounts of things. There was this cool little dice game based off of Warriors, which is a game that I never really got down on because I guess there's the regular way that we play the rules is stupid, and everybody's like, don't play the regular way. That way's stupid. Play the other way. And I was like, well, why would they make that the regular? Okay, this is not about Warriors, which would be in the mech category. This is about this, and it was fun. I remember enjoying it the few times I played it. I still have all my dice up there, and I remember you had to get dice and cycle them through like this little machine, and yeah, it was forgettable good. Never played Dice Masters. Well, I can't tell you what you're missing out on, but it was good. All right. Forgettable good. But you got to realize it. Like, that's the board game hobby right now. Is most games that come out are competent and they're okay to good. But that's good and bad. Exceed. Fighting. So I'm not a big fan of fighting games. I remember I did a Kickstarter video for this one. I think I might have given this one a preview. Either that, or it's either forgettable good or meh. And I want to be safe, so I'm going to lean this one towards the meh, because I don't remember feeling strongly one way or another about this one. So yeah, but I would like to go back and no, I don't want to go back and revisit it. I'll put it right there. We'll go tack. Battle of Waterloo. This is a 2-player war game. I don't get down too much on the war games, unfortunately. I would like to one day, and I don't remember. I want to be frank here. I shot a review on this one, played it a few times. I literally remember absolutely next to nothing about this game except for the fact that the rules pissed me off. That's the only thing I remember. So if that's the only thing I remember about your game 6, 7 years down the road, that means we're in the meh category here. So color cubes? No way. Battle of Waterloo can't touch color cubes. But I would rather play it than Exceed. I have no desire to go back and play that again. All right, we got 4 left. Mr. Jack. So, full disclaimer on this one. I've only played this one in person one time, but I played the snot out of this app. And it was a really fun app. I used to play it all the time. Which means that I should be able to tell you pretty concretely what the mechanisms in this game are. Because I probably played it 50 to 100 times on my phone. And it didn't land. So forgettable good, we go with Mr. Jack. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you here. Like, I played Battleline a whole bunch. Like, I played Battleline, like, a whole bunch. I probably played it 5 times. Mr. Jack, I have quite literally played this on my phone 50 to 100 times. And I don't remember a dang thing about that game. So that is the top of forgettable good for me right there. Because I kept playing it. I remember I had that app on my phone for a long time. All right, Twilight Struggle. Great. Great. This is a 2-player Cold War game, and it drips with theme. The theme comes across very, very strongly in this game. It feels like an insanely well-balanced and well-designed game, and I think it was like top 5 on BGG for a very long time, back before like the huge Kickstarter wave of board games, and just when the market just kind of grew with board games. Twilight Struggle was up there in the top upper echelon for a very good deal of time, and it might still be in the top 10. And it deserves all the hype. It is a great game. I played this one twice with my wife and once with a friend of mine, and every single time. And my wife is not a 2 to 3 hour type gamer. No. And that was the only thing she didn't like about this game, but she loved everything else about this game, which tells me so much about a game that she was like, yeah, I didn't like how long it was. The theme didn't particularly attract her either. And, but here's my problem here. I'm going to put it right there above, but I can't go higher than Star Realms, I can't go higher than Mage Wars, because here's the thing. Twilight Struggle, once again, it's in this capsule, and it's like, here's this game. There's like nothing else that is going to be added to this game. I don't think there's an expansion. I don't think there's promos. It's just, this is the game. And whereas Star Realms and Mage Wars, there are just infinite possibilities. Now, Mage Wars has like cooperative variants and things where you do bosses. And it's just, it's so hard for a game like Twilight Struggle, in my opinion, to compete with a game like Star Realms and Mage Wars. But just because they can keep adding to it. You know, think about like Lost Cities. Same example. I know they added another color to Lost Cities. I'd love to try that out, but how much more are you going to add to Lost Cities? It's interesting. Keyforge. This one. It was good, and I actually had a whole bunch of decks of Keyforge that I got for doing the Fantasy Flight in-flight report, which, by the way, if you go to Gen Con, next time you go to Gen Con, check out the in-flight report. It's weird. It's different. It makes you feel like you're at E3 and not at Gen Con. Like, everybody's in this packed arena, there's somebody on stage, they got the microphone, and they're talking about all the different stuff, and oh, we got this coming in Q4, and then it's like, wait for applause. It's like, oh, then but here's the big announcement, we got this, and then it's like, oh shoot, are we supposed to applaud? And it's just so weird. I definitely recommend checking it out at least once, but I ended up getting a whole bunch of packs of Keyforge cards, and it was good. It was fun. It's got the different races, and you fight each other, and it's good. It wasn't for me. I'll put it like that. Something about it did not scratch my itch, and I did think it was good. I enjoyed every time I played it, but it's not something I really want to go back and revisit that much, whereas I would go back and revisit these. But I would like to play it more than that. Odin's Raiden. All right, what do we got next? One more. Patchwork Express. I still own this, which means we're in this range. It's a really light, it's like 10 minutes, 2-player game where you're doing something or other. There's buttons, and you got to score buttons, and I don't remember a dang thing about this game, but I remember it was fun, and I remember it was good enough to keep it. So that means Forgettable Good. And that Forgettable Good looks like the big winner today on the 2-player card games. But yes, so my top 5 2-player card games of all time: Mage Wars Arena, Star Realms, Twilight Struggle, Codenames Duet, and Onitama. But let me know what you think. What is your favorite 2-player card game of all time? Also, if you enjoyed this list, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, as I'm trying to reach 9,000 subscribers, celebrate my 9-year anniversary of making YouTube content. And let me know in the comments below any list that you would like me to make, because I'm planning on doing these every Saturday night for the most part, until I start going camping with my kids. But doing these on Saturday nights, doing all sorts of different things. I'm working on a whole bunch of different lists currently on my desktop, and so any you suggest, I will bump to the top. But, as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Bye-bye.